Welcome to Mortgages and More, your go-to podcast for the latest insights in the mortgage industry. Join us as we dive into expert advice, unveil actionable tips, and learn how to empower the next generation of homebuyers. Get ready to elevate your knowledge and make those property dreams a reality. Let's get started.
Whoa, here we are.
Woo! Good to be with you.
Kyle, we are live. We hit the wrong button. We usually hit record, but we are live right now.
What happened? Did we do this on purpose?
What happened here?
Look who we have. Look who is sitting in the middle. We have made a Dale Vermillion sandwich today, and it is such an honor. And I mean this in the least weird way possible. But Dale, I was taking a shower last night, and the question hit me that I was like, if Brian doesn't let me ask this first, I'm going to be really mad and end our partnership on this book. Because here, well, and I'm psyching it up, right? It's probably not as big of a deal, but I was, I've loved getting to know you, and obviously you've been around this industry way longer than me, and so I have had lots of catching up to do and learning about everything you've done. And my big question was, you've been at this 4 decades now, and yet I'm watching you show up with just this zest and zeal and just continued love for what you do. And I get bored every 2 years. And so how in the world have you not only been able to just make it 4 decades, but still wake up every day with just this absolute passion to go out there and keep serving people in the mortgage industry?
Well, I love that question. First off, thanks for having me on. It is such an honor to be sandwiched between you two studs. Love you both and appreciate you, and excited about the book that's coming out tomorrow. But let me answer that question, because I get that question a lot. And the answer is, what is there not to be excited about when we live in the mortgage arena? We are helping people to live the American dream. We're helping people to achieve financial success. We're helping people to improve families and community. I use these statistics a lot when I talk to loan officers, that if you look at what we really do in this industry, we have more impact on people than most industries you can name out there today. Because I've traveled all over the world. I've been very fortunate. I've been everywhere. And I have been in the poorest countries in the world on missions trips, seeing people starving to death. I've been in the richest countries. And there's one thing that I've noticed that's universal for every country I've been to outside of America. And it's this: we're the only country in the entire world where home ownership is a reality for the average American, for the middle class, lower middle class person. Everywhere else, if you own a home, you're elite, and that's it. It's only for the elite and nobody else. That's an incredible thing when you really think about it. And then I talk a lot with loan officers about, statistically, if you look at things like marriage, for example, and divorce, which just breaks my heart, because I don't want to see anybody get divorced. 52% to 54% of marriages end in divorce. 70% of the reason is financial strife. You know what? We can fix those statistics. We're not mortgage people. We're life changers. We're money giveaways. We're marriage, fixers. We're everything outside of that. So when I get up every morning, thanks to the grace of God and my faith, which is the first thing that drives me, the second thing is I get to go impact people who impact people every day. I couldn't have a better job. There's nothing not to be excited about.
Amazing. I love that. I talk a lot about the local loan officer being in a position, uniquely being in a position to be the trusted financial advisor for early journey homebuyers, i.e. first-time homebuyers. And I just love that. I love your message on that. So true.
Dale, we're going to see what probably the most mortgage people ever leave the industry, or well, they've left, but when we see these numbers, is it the biggest exodus that you've been a part of in your time in this industry? And then, like, what's the message to the people that are left?
Yeah, great question. It probably will be the biggest exodus I've ever seen by the time it's over. It's not close to over yet.
Mm.
We started this year with a lot of hope that rates were going to go down. We had a nice drop. It's since reverted. We can't seem to get Jerome Powell to quit making those hawkish comments that just mess with the market. And, the way it looks right now, we're going to see rates go down by the end of the year, but not to the level or the speed we thought it was going to. And there's a lot of lenders and a lot of loan officers hanging by a shoestring from, living off 2020 and 2021 success. So it is going to be close to 2008, 9, and 10. It's going to be close to 1998. I think deeper than 1998. Look, here's the answer, though. Let's just be very blunt about this if we can. There's no reason why people should be failing right now. I am working with loan officers all over the country and lenders all over the country that we're having record year this year and last year in 2023, believe it or not. I'm working with loan officers doing $100 million plus a year in business in this market and economy. And the reason they're doing well is because of one universal truth. They understand the market does not dictate their success, period. That's the key. What's happened is a lot of loan officers have sidelined themselves because they've let the market get at them. They've let it get under their skin. They've let it change their mindset and change their work habits. The two things you cannot change in a market like this are your mindset and your work habits. You better believe that people still need what we have to offer, because they do. They still need to own homes. They don't want to rent. I've said it a million times. You're never going to interview a fifth grader who says, when I grow up, I want to be a renter. Okay, that's not going to happen. Home ownership is the American dream. It's where we build most of our wealth in the U.S. So what that rates are 6.5% or 7%? Doesn't mean you don't buy. It means you do buy, because there's less competition now than there was years ago when rates were low. You actually can get in a home, and in a year or two, when those rates go down, which they always do, you just refinance out of it and you're good. It's just a time where loan officers have to get up and say, you know what? My product isn't mortgages. My product's money. And everybody loves that product. Everybody wants that product, and everybody needs that product. And I got it. I got an endless supply of it that I'm looking to give out. So if you have that mindset, and then you just work hard, get out in your community, quit sitting in your living room, quit looking at your phone, quit focusing on Netflix, get out and meet with partners, get out and meet with your customers, get out in your community. You do those two things, you crush it.
I love that. So I was thinking about, getting ready for this conversation, and one thing that came to mind was there's at least 3 generations of originators that exist.
Yep.
I fall into the longest and the oldest generation of loan officers that have been, early 90s for me. And so guys like us that have been through multiple cycles. I was at a company that was seized by the FDIC. It doesn't get any worse than that, right? Doesn't get any worse than that.
I'm sure it wasn't your fault, though, Brian.
No, there's nothing worse than when you go to the door and the key card doesn't work. That's a bad sign. So I lived through that. So there's that generation that we've got multiple cycles, good and bad, that we've been through. We've got that next generation, that middle generation that maybe has been through one cycle, but there's a new generation. This is their first kind of go at this type of market. As you're out talking to loan officers, I'm guessing your message has to be dynamic enough to really focus on the perspective of who you're coaching. And I'm just curious if from your seat, how you adjust that message for those folks that are going through this for the very first time.
Yeah. So here's the funny thing about that. The two classes of loan officers that are succeeding the most, and I train thousands upon thousands every month. I mean, I've worked with 700 lenders in my career and trained 1.5 million or 2 million loan officers. And I will tell you, the two that are succeeding the most right now are the experienced loan officer who is doing the same things today they did 20 years ago. They're out there beating the bushes. They're out there building relationships. They haven't gone all techie. They're not sending links to borrowers and letting them do self-service. They're actually building incredible relationships, serving their customers well, and they're involved in their communities. The second group is the brand newbies, baby. They are crushing it because they don't know any better.
Yeah.
When I look them dead in the eye and go, rate don't matter, they go, oh, okay, if you say so. That's all there is to it. You know, I go back to the day I started, August 1983, came out of construction business, was standing on a scaffold. Guy said, you talk a lot, you ought to be in sales. I don't think it was a compliment, by the way. I took him up on it. Started selling pots and pans door to door, did that for a year like Zig Ziglar, did really well, but didn't want to do it for a living, got a job as a loan officer. So I go to work for this 27-year veteran. And I sit down and I say, so what do you want me to do? He goes, here's what I want you to do. I want you to call customers up and tell them you're going to save them hundreds of dollars per month, put tens of thousands of dollars cash in their pocket, cut their taxes and their term a bunch, and change their life. Okay, I can do that. So I call up the first customer and like, wow, that sounds great. What's your rate? I go, hold on. Put him on hold. Hey, boss, ask me a question. What's my rate? He goes, it's 17.5, but don't worry about it. Just tell him it's good.
Oh my God.
Okay. I said, it's good. My boss said it's good. Well, what's good? 17.5. 17.5 isn't good. I go, well, he just said it is. And if I can save you hundreds and give you thousands, why do you care? My first month, this is a true story, I closed 23 loans in my first month. Everybody else in my company was closing 3 and 4 because I didn't know I wasn't supposed to.
Right.
I was told rate doesn't matter. You just go sell the benefits and you build a great relationship. And that's what I did, bottom line. So today, those who come in and don't know the difference, and I can take them and go, look, don't worry about what rates are. Every consumer in every rate market, high or low, asks you the same question up front. What's your rate? And they all tell you they want the lowest rate. And the fact is, there's only one lowest in the whole world. That's why it's called the lowest, and it ain't you. So it doesn't matter if you're a little higher or a lot higher. You ain't the lowest, but that doesn't mean you can't be the best. Be the best. Give the best service, give the best benefits, provide the best solutions. And you know what? You will justify the difference between your rate and your competition. And I see brand new loan officers doing that every day. They walk in, they barnstorm the lender. They're doing 20 loans, 10 loans. Everybody else, all these senior people are doing 2 and going, what just happened? And I look at them and go, it's simple. They're excited. You're not.
Right.
They believe you don't. And they're doing what I told them to do and you're not. That's it.
Wow. So Dale, you are there's a chapter in the book that you've written that for people on LinkedIn right this second you're watching this live, book comes out, gosh, less than 24 hours from now. Crazy.
Hey, wait a minute, Kyle. You said you weren't nervous. Come on, man.
Well, when I say it out loud, it kind of gets me in the feels a little bit. For those of you on the podcast, then it's already out. You can go get it. So you've written a chapter, but Dale, what you don't know is Scott Payne quoted you in his chapter. And so there's a big, cool quote graphic in his chapter of a quote that you said. That quote has also made it now to the back cover of the book.
Wow.
And so I want to read it to you. And then I want to get your take on it because, again, you said this.
Okay.
Right. So what you said was,
it took me 41 years. I've finally been quoted. This is awesome.
That's right. You are welcome.
Hope we got it right.
What you said is you said top tier originators and bottom tier originators have one thing in common. They both only have 24 hours in a day.
Right.
What separates the two is how they use those 24 hours.
Exactly right.
How do we break down that quote very practically?
Yeah. So I'll give you one statement that breaks that down. Have a priority mindset in everything you do. That's it. That's it. It's amazing to me. Okay, so let me give you the perfect example. What is the first thing most loan originators start their day with in the morning? Okay, they look at the news. What, are you kidding me? What are you doing that for? That ain't going to help. Then guess what the second thing they do is? They check their emails. There ain't nothing good in there. That's all the bad news. You don't want to hear about the canceled deal or the problem on the file, and that's what they start with. And the day's a train wreck from that point forward. They never set their priorities. The great loan officers have always done the same thing. They get up in the morning, they start the day positive. Okay. They get up and they read powerful things, listen to powerful things, watch powerful things, mind, body, spirit. They make sure they get it right. Okay. The minute that's done, They don't go to their emails. They sit down and say, what are the most important priorities I have to accomplish today? And at the top of my list is, I need to make a sale today. I've taught this my whole career. If you just get one sale a day, one borrower to commit to you, give you an application and lock their rate and sign their ITP and give you their docs, you put 21 deals a month in your pipeline every single month of your career on average. The average loan officer closes 75% of their loans that go into pipeline. That means you're going to close 17 loans a month guaranteed your entire career. If you do 2, you close 34. I have trained that way forever. And people who get up, they go, you know what? My number one priority is I have to get my sale. So I'm starting my day with sales activities. I've said this a million times: sell early, sell often. That's the quote I use constantly with loan officers. Get up, start with sales, spend 2-3 hours in the morning, get all your applications set up for the afternoon that you can now sell those deals, get them locked in, and you end the day with 1 or 2 sales a day. And don't worry about what's in that email. It ain't going anywhere. It'll be there at 11, just like it was there at 9.
Yeah, I think too often we look at that email as our work. That's us being busy. And what I'm hearing is that that's a distraction from what's going to make you successful, right?
It's not just a distraction. It's a downright negative producer is what it is. You're not going to get paid because your email box is clean. Let me just tell you that right now. That is not the goal of an originator. Okay. You can be the most organized poor person on the planet if you do that. You've got to focus on what makes you money and what changes lives. You're not changing lives answering emails. You're changing lives talking to customers, talking to partners, helping them understand how to navigate this 2024 marketplace, helping them understand why rate isn't the most important thing in a mortgage transaction, helping them understand, although rates are up, this is one of the best times to buy in 10 years because there's less competition, more opportunity, inventory keeps getting better every day. Look at all the positives, share that with people, and you know what? They're going to love you. You know, you said it earlier, Brian, you made a great point about first-time buyers. 54% of the market last year was first-time buyers. Yeah. Okay. Gen Z is now starting to take off for buying homes. Let me tell you what I know about Gen Y, Gen Z. Okay. And I think my boy Kyle here, I think he might be a Gen Yer. Okay.
I'm a millennial.
That's
barely.
Okay. You're barely millennial. You're just on the cusp. All right. The Gen Y, Gen Z, smartest people on the planet. They are the most educated people we've ever seen. They don't know a thing about a mortgage. They have no clue what they're doing. And all of the information online does not help them. It actually confuses them because everybody has a different opinion. They need an expert. They need an advisor. They need you. That's what they need.
Love that.
It's so good.
So Dale, current generation, let's talk about the newbies that have not seen, this cycle before. As you're engaging and coaching them, how are you now bringing in kind of the modern, the digital experience? Because that same cohort of home buyer, they're learning differently, right? They're the way they source and learn is different than prior generations. They're on TikTok, they're learning on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. So I'm assuming with those LOs that are being successful today, that they have a strategy where they're showing up where this cohort, where these consumers are, and a lot of it's going to be on social.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've been a partner with ICE Mortgage Technology for 4, 5, 6 years now. I'm speaking again at their conference coming up in Vegas next month. And the phrase that I've coined with them for the last 4 years is high tech, high touch. You got to be high tech, high touch. Now, here's the interesting thing about technology is that it's really misunderstood. Okay. Everybody thinks that today's buyer, particularly the first time buyer, is going to be a high tech, want to have a link, want to do an online application kind of buyer. There's nothing further from the truth. And every study proves that out. Okay. The ones that want the link are my generation and your generation, Brian, because we've done this 10 times.
Right.
We've bought plenty of homes. We understand the mortgage process. We don't really need somebody to educate it on us anymore. We got that one figured out. We just need to get our application in as quick as we can and be done with it. Okay. The first time buyers need lots of coaching, lots of education, and they need somebody to disseminate all of this TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, you name it. Okay. All of these different things they hear and say, wait a minute, What's the truth in here? Like, what's real? One person says this, another person says that. And I don't know who to listen to. Well, who you listen to is the mortgage expert who does it for a living every day. The person who eats, breathes, and lives mortgage is the one you should listen to, not Susie Orman. Nothing against Susie Orman, but she's never done a mortgage a day in her life. So she may not give you the best direction. Okay. The key is they need to talk to an individual. So what I'm teaching people is, yes, of course you got to use technology, but here's the key. You don't let technology replace relationship or education that's in a human connection form. That's the key to it. So if you're going to send somebody a link, you darn well better walk them through that link, and you better still build that relationship with them and educate them on why they should choose you, why they should choose 2024 to buy a home, and why this is a good time to be in the mortgage world.
So Dale, are you getting as granular with all of your people that like you would tell them to do a Loom video, for example, where they may be screen sharing and walking, there's a video of me down in the corner, but I'm walking you through like, this is what you're about to see, and you're going to click this button, and then you're going to see this. And like, is that kind of being high tech, high touch at the same time?
The more human you can make it, the more you can connect on a personal level. We don't see people's eyes anymore.
Yeah.
We don't know the borrower's reaction to anything. We send them a link and we think because they fill it out, they're going to go with us. Are you kidding me? The minute you pull a credit report, 84 lenders are going to light them up in 1 second flat and all say the same thing. We can beat that person that just pulled your credit report. You're getting picked on by 84 bullies. What you're not going to survive if you don't have a relationship with that borrower, and if you have not created some special value. So I'm teaching retail loan officers, go back to the old school way. Go to the literally when you hit a referral from your lender or from your realtor partner, what you tell them is, let's do this. Let's set up a meeting at your office with that buyer. I'm going to sit down with you. I'm going to sit down with them. I'm going to educate them for you, and I'm going to get them pre-approved right there in your office. Now you connect with your real estate agent and all the other agents in the office. Now you connect with the borrower who brings all their docs and their spouse when they come. They've now committed an hour and a half out of their day. They're not going anywhere. You just lock them in right there. It's real simple. If you can't do that, then go to a video and do some kind of virtual conversation with them where you're seeing them face to face and they're seeing you and you're interacting. And if that won't work, then a phone call. But all of this doing everything by text, email, and online, it does not work. And if it did work, you wouldn't see the fintech companies failing so miserably in the marketplace right now. Who are the companies that are having the biggest difficulties? The ones that are primarily tech. They had a great time in 2021 when rates were 2.5.
Yeah.
They're not having a good time at all when rates are 7 because it takes a human touch.
It's so good. So Dale, as we wrap this up, you and I, we got to spend a lot of time in Vegas a few months back, and
I love it.
And we got to share big old steaks with Jake was there, and you got to tell me stories of your beach church that you ran for a really long time.
Yep.
And so there's a reason why we put mortgages and more, because Brian's the mortgage guy. I'm the more guy. I like the more stuff. And so can I ask Pastor Dale to bring like a closing message to this podcast of with just a little bit of hope for the people watching and listening that have stuck it out. They are still here. They are not quitting, though they're frustrated. What message of hope do they need right now?
Number one, God loves you. Then number one is you got to know that you were created in the image of a perfect, infinite God who loves you and cares about you and wants you to succeed and wants you to live a great life. And you can do anything you want to do in life. Quit putting your hope in the things that aren't permanent and eternal and don't have more knowledge than you do. The biggest mistake we make is we think we run the world. We don't. We're not that smart and we're not that perfect. So that's number one. Number two, build your entire business around what we've coined as our philosophy at Mortgage Champions. It's called the others first philosophy, based on Philippians 2, 3, and 4, which are my life first. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but in all things with humility, value others above yourself, looking out for their interests and not your own. That's the quintessential core principle that I've used my entire career. It's the one that has helped me to succeed and help every person I met to succeed. When people know you're looking out for them and you care about them and you want to help them, they want to help you in return. It works that way. And you can succeed and achieve anything that you want if you do that. But you gotta get up in the morning and you gotta remember you were made for greatness, not for
Come on.
mediocrity. Just get up and go be great. Go be who you were made to be. Don't worry if you've had bad months in the past. You know what the beauty of 1 minute ago is? It's history now.
That's
You
right.
can't change it. It's over. All you can do is look forward. You don't drive down the highway looking out the rearview mirror because you crash. You look out the front window. Look out the window and go. If you do that, if you have faith, if you have belief, if you know you're loved unconditionally and forgiven for all the stupid things you've done, because I've done a gazillion stupid things and God loves me anyway, how can I not be happy? That's why I'm always motivated, because I'm living a life I don't even deserve.
So
Amazing.
this is what I knew that Pastor Dell would bring to closing the show. Guys, Brian and I are going to do our best next episode to bring on someone that can even slightly hold the torch next to what Dale you just did. But thank you guys for listening. Dale, where do people go to find you guys, like they don't already know, but just in case they don't?
DaleVermillion.com, MortgageChampions.com, either one. I mean, just
There
Google
it
my
is.
name. You'll find me, I promise.
Man, thank you for
Thank
saying
you
yes
guys.
to the book. Thank you for what you do for our industry. Man, it's an honor to call you friend.
Oh, love you guys. Appreciate you both. God bless you. Keep doing what you're doing. You guys are making a big difference. It's really noticed, and the old guys like me really appreciate it.
Thanks, Dale.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time.
All right.